Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Josh Taylor in for Rich Walsh, joined by Tim Benz from the Trib. Taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. Before we take a call here, Tim, let's get to the Pirates real quick. Beat up on the Reds 14-0, but on another set of news, Francisco Cervelli, who signed with Atlanta today, he's in New York tonight with the Braves facing the Mets and has a couple hits, drives in a couple runs on his first base hit. Good impression for his first team, and maybe a little I don't know if you want to call it schadenfreude, but there's definitely some messages to be seen there.
Well, I think it's maybe the first Venezuelan Italian hockey or baseball player acting like a hockey player here. Insofar as, you know, this happens all the time with hockey players. They get traded and immediately they get 2 goals wherever they go.
Right.
So, like, I don't expect this to continue for Cervelli, but, you know, one thing that you can say about him is when he's right, he's hitting. And,
yes,
maybe sometimes he hits his way into hot streaks, and perhaps that could happen for him. But you know, he had a nice little run here. I think some of the tributes and flowery goodbyes for Cervelli are kind of an indication of how badly of a struggle it's been for the Pirates lately, that we're looking for anything nice to say or think about anybody. It was Cervelli going out the door. What were they going to do? Keep him?
Yeah, I never anticipated that.
Let him go. Let him go and like chase a pennant with the Atlanta. That's fine.
Especially with a team that needs him. Atlanta's down to Tyler Flowers as their lone catcher because Brian McCann's on the injured list, so they definitely had a need for a guy like him. And a team like that needs some offense, especially if you're stuck with Tyler Flowers as your option, why not give Cervelli a shot at least until Brian McCann gets back, and maybe Cervelli's your backup. So there really is no risk for the Braves in that. Interesting tweet from Rob on Twitter who says the Steelers should trade Josh Dobbs to Indianapolis. What do you think about that one?
You know what? That makes a fair amount of sense. You know, now there's still $18.4 million, I think, in dead cap left behind by the Colts. So that doesn't exactly mean that they're maneuverable with luck being out. But I would say this, Josh, about Josh Dobbs. The first team that came to mind for me in a trade option for him was Tampa, because Tampa has 3 tight ends, plus that 4th guy who lit up the Steelers, and then the Dolphins, Tanner Hudson. Right. I haven't kept track of what he did this weekend. He can't block worth a you-know-what, but he can catch the ball, and he might make one of the other 3 tight ends expendable on that roster. And their top backup is Blaine Gabbert.
And he just got hurt.
There you go.
He just got hurt,
so
like, I think just this week.
All the more reason why they might be interested in Dobbs or Duck Dynasty. But, you know, if you could get something for Dobbs, then go ahead and do it. And, you know, isn't Jacoby Brissett now going to be the starter?
Brissett will be the starter in Indianapolis.
Yeah. All right, well, then you have a similarly skilled quarterback behind Brissett that would make a more easy transition if Brissett were to get hurt. That's not a crazy idea.
Both pretty smart dudes, too, Brissett and Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty smart guys. Let's go to Bob in Clearfield on the line. Bob, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. But, you know, I guess you kind of answered my question in regards to the prospects of a Josh Dobbs trade, you know. And, you know, so what are we going to looking at here? Probably a 50-year option coming up. And I think he said that there is value out there, but also he said if teams need, and he said a quarterback, the one possible trade that you guys mentioned, now you have 2 teams he said could be interested in it. So if there was someone coming along and say a 3rd-round pick, he said that's going to.
No, he's not going to get. They're not going to get a 3rd-round pick.
I'd be surprised if a 3rd-round pick is.
You're not going to get more. He's a 4th-round pick quarterback from 2 years ago who's barely played. I mean, you're going to get a 5th, 6th, something like that. I mean, let's not get
probably
crazy.
Some day 3-ish.
Yeah, or you get a bottom of the roster guy who's going to be cut from a different position, like I said before, with a tight end from somewhere else.
A surplus that they don't need, basically.
Right. Yes, exactly. We have a need, you have a need kind of trade here.
Which is what you would hope for, because there aren't many positions that this team, the Steelers, need to fill. But you mentioned tight end. That's probably the one thing, whether it's a backup quarterback, whether it's maybe even one of these spare corners that might not make the roster. That's in play too.
Yeah, I would also say maybe a pass rusher, depending on how bulky they think Ola Daney's knee is going to be. I mean, the reports aren't that bad, but that's still a position where they're going in with just Anthony Chickillo and Adaney as the backups.
That's fair to point out.
Unless they keep guys like Skipper, you know, like there are guys they can keep on the practice squad, I suppose.
That is true. Let's go to Pete in Squirrel Hill. Pete, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hey, Josh, how are you tonight?
Good, how you doing?
All right, Josh, I'm convinced the only thing worse than watching Pirate baseball and their lack of fundamentals is listening to those guys do the game. Bob Walk just the other night said to Greg Brown, well, since we're out of the pennant race, this is all about building momentum for next year. Tonight he tells them, this baseball's a funny game, Greg. One season has nothing to do with the next. But the thing about this organization, what's going to make it difficult, Josh, unlike football, where you can get a quarterback and change the position of your organization. Unlike hockey, you can draft a great winger or a center and do the same thing. In the NBA, you can get he's on the court 90% of the game. You can have the greatest player on the planet like Mike Trout is with the Angels. He only comes to the plate once every 9 times, and you can't score when you're on defense. It will be years, Josh, before this organization can turn it around. Thank you.
Took a long way to get there. That was a trip, man. Wow.
I don't know how that's Bob Walk's fault, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know how it is either.
The bigger
I didn't
point
understand
that
how the two things were related.
is that the hardest sport to team build in is baseball, and that's why
true.
it was so much of lightning in a bottle when they did it for 5 years in the prime part of the McCutcheon years. Now, as far as the broadcasters, they are trying to take 8 pounds of crap and put it into a 6-pound satchel every single night.
They're trying hard to make chicken salad.
You know, exactly.
Real hard.
The last thing in the world I'm tracking right now is their consistency about motivation for next season.
They're trying real hard to spin this and make it look good. And now, granted, a night like tonight is probably a lot easier to do it when you beat up on a team that you've been at their throats all year.
The bigger
14-0.
complaint that I have about that presentation is like when Chris Stratton has one 1-2-3 inning, we turn him into the next, I don't know, Mark Melanson setting up Jason Grilli for next year. That's what bugs me about looking for the silver lining. It's not the spin over the narrative over being optimistic for next year.
Right.
They're employed by the team. Part of their job is to sell the team, and it's your job as a fan to weed through what really is fact and what really is promotion.
All I'm looking for as far as things that make you feel more positive about next year, I'm looking at what Brian Reynolds does. You probably looking to see how Josh Bell, even if he can, continue to move back in the right direction. He had an opposite field home run tonight, just 32nd of the year. So there are some things that you draw positives from there, but there's only a couple.
Yeah, Reynolds matters. Bell matters.
Right. Those things matter.
The back of the bullpen matters.
Trevor Williams matters.
And the rotation does. Williams is probably that, but the biggest question facing them is what do they do with Chris Archer's option?
I think
that's the biggest question in the offseason.
Especially with how this pitching staff is going to look next year. No Jamison Tyone for the entire season. So now it becomes who are the better guys in your rotation and who's expendable and who do you keep. So all that stuff adds up. We got to take a break. We come back, we'll answer more phone calls. Stick around.